In our fourth video on this sixth petition of the Lord's Prayer, lead us not into temptation, I want to talk a little bit about the devil's schemes when it comes to your facing temptation and what he wants you to believe. One of the ways the devil seeks to crush you in temptation is to get you to believe that temptation that you're facing, it's worse than anyone has ever had to experience before, that you're alone, you're isolated. Like there's a certain sin or sins now that you're facing that nobody else has really had to face. What are we to think whenever we're struggling with any temptation, any sin, as far as that trial in our life and others, and whether or not they face that trial? Do we even have a chance if the devil pursues us like a lion and gets us to believe that this temptation is unique to you and does all sorts of other things to try to get you to fall into despair or rationalize your sin and become prideful and hardened? So what chance do we have against the devil, who is so devious and is like a roaring lion looking for a soul to devour? I want you to talk about that. Talk about this issue of when you're facing temptation. Is it really true that you alone have faced this temptation? Or what's the comfort in knowing that others have also faced this, especially among the body of believers? And then in general, what do you think is the best thing you can do in your fight against the devil and temptation? As you think about that, I'm going to read to you a couple passages for your encouragement. First Corinthians chapter 10, 13 to 14. The Apostle Paul assures us that no temptation has seized you except what is common to man. And God is faithful. He will not let you be tempted beyond what you can bear. But when you are tempted, he will also provide an escape so that you can stand up under it. Therefore, my beloved, flee. 1 Corinthians 10, 13 to 14. Or how about this one? Psalm 50, verse 15. Call upon me in the day of trouble. I will deliver you and you will honor me. So there's that beautiful promise that even though the devil might be more powerful than us by far, God is there. God is faithful. And God promises that he's not going to let you face a temptation that you can't conquer in him. This is a passage that maybe is a favorite among a lot of people. And maybe some clarification needs to be had here. Some people say, God will never throw anything at you in this life that you can't handle. That's not what he's saying here. And that's not true. God often allows you to face things in this life that you cannot handle on your own, which is why we call out to him, Lord, lead us not into temptation, right? We need to depend on him. Now, in God, we'll find the strength in Christ to weather any storm, to bear up under any temptation, which we find, thankfully, is not uncommon. God is faithful. He will give you the strength you need to weather and face that temptation so that you're not overcome if we're in him. And he will give us a way out, maybe not immediately. This might be a temptation you face and struggle with your whole life, but ultimately he will deliver us from temptation. So we want to keep that in mind as we consider that beautiful passage there. And especially the promise in Psalm 50, verse 15, that we can call upon the Lord in the day of trouble and he will listen and deliver us. So we want to honor his name in the right way. Use it for that purpose. Just call on him and flee the devil and or resist the devil and he will flee, as James also shared. All right, for our purposes today, have a blessed conversation about how you can stand firm against the devil. And of course, make sure that you are finding paths where you rely on the Lord when facing temptation, and be comforted in the promise of knowing that he will be there for you, give you the strength you need, and one day he will allow you to escape from that trial. We'll continue on with the last couple videos for our discussion on this sixth petition.